Hello. So I want to talk about what it's going to take for Tesla or any other manufacturer to get to a full self-driving truck. I know right now they're only really working on full self-driving cars, and they said the Tesla Semi would be able to do enhanced autopilot, but I want to talk about full self-driving. So I'm in a slightly different position. I'm a truck driver. I also own a Model S. I've used autopilot. A lot of Tesla owners kind of feel like full self-driving, as far as the truck is concerned, will be here right around the corner, and a lot of truck drivers feel like it's something that might never happen. I'm kind of in the middle. I think it's going to take a long time, but they probably eventually will get there. So what I did was I mounted a GoPro on my windshield. It recorded everything I saw. I edited everything down, took all the boring stuff out, and I'm going to add a voiceover so you can see everything I see, and I'll explain everything that I'm seeing and obstacles and things that a fully autonomous system are going to need to recognize and be able to avoid. I'm also doing this with the assumption that all the full self-driving capabilities are going to be done from the truck and only the truck. So I'm not considering there'll be any sensors or cameras or anything like that on the trailer, so the truck will be able to connect to any trailer that it can, instead of having to rely on that truck being linked to certain trailers. I think that would be more of a problem than anything. So this should be about 5 parts, one for each day. I'm gonna go over some things that I think full self-driving would struggle with, some things that I think that it probably can do right now, and I'm gonna go over some things that I think that a full self-driving truck with the sensors will probably be able to do a lot better than a human can right now. And there are a couple places in there where I'll be able to look at how an electric truck will be able to be a lot better than a diesel truck. So this sign lets you know that you need to be going 35 miles per hour in a truck to make this turn safely. It's probably a little conservative, but you definitely don't need to be going into this turn at highway speed. Autopilot currently does a pretty good job with this, as it's approaching an exit ramp that has a hard turn, so I don't think this will be too big of a problem. Crossing over the Mississippi River Bridge. The main thing here is going down and maintaining your speed, because the weight of the trailer could push you really fast, and the speed limit is still 60 going down this bridge. One thing I'm curious about is a autonomous truck is going to have to be able to look upwards of 50 feet back to be able to make a safe lane change if it wants to let another car over to merge. like during the day, but when you normally get there at night, it's completely dark. You have a car that kind of jumps in your way and you have no clue what they're trying to do. This location doesn't have any lines where I'm backing, so I'm kind of just going towards the door, and a fully autonomous truck would have to do that without a whole lot of direction. It's completely dark. I'll back up close to the building until one of the store workers comes out and help. Then I'll back up to within 1 or 2 inches of the building, and then I can unload from there. Without putting a sensor on the trailer, I think this would be really difficult for an autonomous truck. So this is the back of the trailer. It's about 60 feet away from the cab. You have to be a few inches away from the wall, and in my current Tesla, the parking sensors don't even like me being that close to the walls in my garage. So done unloading, on my way to the second stop. Now you can basically see the reverse of how I backed in now that the sun is up. I just had to turn in the gravel and back in between the poles and the fence. Also really have to watch out for these giant potholes. It can really tip over your load. And you also have to be patient and be able to wait for a safe time to turn out into traffic. Set of railroad tracks. These are really smooth, much better than the ones I'll be going over later. I imagine that a fully autonomous truck isn't going to have to stop and turn the flashers on if they're carrying hazardous materials, but I'm not actually sure. Sometimes when you can't see the lights ahead, you have to look at the cars and see what they're doing to tell if the light's red or green. And also, you can slow down ahead of time, and maybe you can time it, and you won't have to stop, and you can just roll through the light when it turns green. Also, a fully autonomous truck driving through a construction zone is going to want to get in the correct lane as soon as possible. transaction is very similar to the one that Tesla is currently involved in a lawsuit with, that involved a semi and a Tesla Model 3, I believe. In making a turn like this, it has to be really cognizant of how fast or how slow the truck is, as well as how fast the traffic is moving, and not turn in such a way that you would damage your load. This is the other railroad crossing. It's pretty rough, so I know that I need to slow down way back, and I'm not sure how a fully autonomous truck is going to know that just by looking at it. I don't even know how it would scan, because if you hit this one too fast, you could possibly go airborne. Another stop at a left turn across traffic. The turn to this delivery approach is very narrow, so I try to use as much road as I can. I'll often turn my hazard lights on to let the cars around me know that something's about to happen. I'll have to get all the way over to the left and use the whole road just so my trailer barely makes it without going into that big deep ditch over there. Stopping distance. So it would be really helpful for an autonomous truck to be able to read that sign while not being confused at it and thinking that it's something else. So here's an exit in a construction zone. This is the second time they've moved this exit, so you can't necessarily rely on GPS data for exactly where the exit is. You're really going to have to read the lines, and even in these jerky situations where the pavement level is changing, you still have to stay between those lines that are kind of faded and everything. So that's something that an autonomous truck is going to have to do, because there's always construction. Headed toward this truck stop. There's supposed to be a stop sign for the trucks that are coming out of the area that I'm headed into, but it's been ran over so many times that it's missing. So an autonomous vehicle is going to need to know who has the right of way, even when it's not clear. So later that day, I had to go across the river after I got off work, and I decided to take the ferry back, and I realized this is something that you would need in an autonomous vehicle also. Sometimes you get in situations like riding a ferry where you have people guiding you around to where you need to be. And an autonomous vehicle is going to need to be able to do that also, and be able to react to people's hand gestures. And this, I feel, might be the most difficult thing, because most people don't use proper hand gestures when they're doing this type of stuff. Here's another one of those little examples where a full self-driving car is going to have to learn how to adjust on the fly. This car in front of me wants to make a left turn. The cars on the other side of the levee are kind of blocking the way, so they figure they just go down the hill and they'll make a left turn at the end of the road. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know why I'm wrong in the comments.